and the CEO of the Australian Energy Council, Sarah McNamara. So, Sarah, good morning. Thanks to you. Thanks for coming on the show this morning. Is the Energy Minister right there about the gas trigger? Do you think it can or should be pulled?
Minister Bowen's absolutely correct. It is not a short-term silver bullet solution and wouldn't actually be effective until next year anyway. The short-term issues we're dealing with, we're just going to have to deal with through winter, I think. We really welcome Minister Bowen, though, talking to industry and working with his state and territory counterparts on potential options to ease supply over the coming winter months. Look, it's looking like a tight situation in the market.
Right. So just for our viewers at home, who a lot of this may well go over their heads, why can't it be pulled?
Well, the government, firstly, it's never been pulled before. It was introduced by the Turnbull government back in 2017, and it requires a period of consultation with gas producers, because what it would do if pulled is prevent those producers from exporting LNG overseas and hold that production for domestic use.
A lot of people have said to me in the past 24 hours or so, though, and it's a very simple explanation is required, or there's simple questions that they're asking, is that are we prioritising the overseas markets instead of our own? On the face of it, does that seem to be happening?
Well, I think individual companies are entitled to have contracts to provide supply wherever they choose. Sure. The LNG export market certainly a thriving market for Australia. But the situation we're in is not because of the behaviour of LNG producers, not at all. The situation we're in is due to a range of factors. Many of them are beyond our controls, particularly Russia's invasion of the Ukraine, which of course kicked off a serious constraint in supply for Russia's coal and gas through Europe. And that's in turn put pressure on our domestic market as well.
So basically, if you do pull that trigger, you've got all these contracts, and as I understand it, some 90% of our gas is tied up in foreign contracts. If that were to happen, then you'd have a lot of businesses who'd be most upset about it and then send their business elsewhere.
Well, it is there in legislation, and it is an option available to the government, but it's just not a silver bullet. It would contribute to an easing of supply pressures in the medium term next year. It wouldn't do anything to ease the supply pressures that are driving prices up over the next few months towards the end of the year.
So what else can be done? How are your talks going?
My members are in discussions with Minister King and Minister Bowen, and they're very constructive discussions. The market operator too is working very hard with my member businesses around supply issues. And at the moment, the market operator's advice, it has confirmed that there is sufficient supply in the market. However, because it is tight, the wholesale market price is higher than we would like it to be, and that's unfortunately something that retailers will also have to manage.
We saw, or the UK saw, dozens of retailers go under. Do you foresee that happening here?
We don't want to see any retailers be challenged in terms of their financial viability. And there are some differences in the UK in terms of how their market operates. But retailers are in a really tight situation as well. In terms of prices, they're squeezed between what is a regulated market cap for retail prices and escalating wholesale market prices, which of course are driving up their costs of doing business. The
Treasurer yesterday on this program said he's open to backing more onshore gas developments. I mean, I'm sure you'd be encouraged by that. Is it that simple, though? I mean, that in itself involves a lot of conversations, particularly with the states.
Absolutely. And bans on onshore gas development, particularly here in Victoria, where I am, are probably not entirely helpful just at the moment. But there are some other factors that will see an easing of the supply crisis. One of the other problems we've had is some unanticipated coal plant outages along the East Coast, just because of maintenance issues. And those issues should largely be overcome in the next 2 months. So that will bring more coal plant online, which will in turn ease the pressure on gas-fired generation to fill the gap.
Okay. Sarah, appreciate your time this morning. That's Sarah McNamara from the Australian Energy Council. Appreciate that. Thank you.